No man, no children, not even a house. And this is how I do not experience an identity crisis anymore. A big difference between an identity crisis and identity capital. You know how right around your birthday you do get those kind of like birthday blues? It's like a little dose of like identity crisis that happens every single year, or there's some sadness or sorrowness based on the things that you have accomplished or you haven't accomplished, things that didn't fall into place that you were hoping would by this time in your life. I usually get those little sad moments, those kind of like little identity crises. But this year it didn't happen. And I was kind of wondering why, because I definitely do have a lot of ambitions and a lot of goals, and I for sure do not have most of this figured out. And yet I do not have this identity crisis, this kind of like sorrowness over my birthday. And I think I know why. Right around 2 years ago, I've experienced a serious identity crisis. I was going through an uncoupling. I was really lost and confused. I was really upset. And I started to realize that I was truly with the wrong person in the wrong time, trying to build a life that was not even authentic to myself, the life that was going to happen between us. And that's where I had to break it all off. I had to really get my life together financially, emotionally, physically. A lot of things had to change. It felt like there was nothing in my life that I did right. The only thing that was enjoyable is the fact that I was in Florida at the time. But at the same time, I was not healthy in Florida at the time. I was heartbroken, and all of these things really like took away from the experience of even just being in Florida. So, of course, every birthday that I would have was kind of filled with this sorrow. And only now I'm understanding why this was happening. This was happening because I was truly going off of track of what my reality should have looked like. How do you know this? You're just miserable the whole time. You're just unhappy. That's simply what it is. And then one day I saw a video. It was either a reel or something like that. It just gave me an idea. The idea that there is a big difference between an identity crisis and identity capital. Those are basically the two opposing views. So in identity crisis, you're clearly losing your identity. You don't know who you are anymore. You don't know what to do with your life anymore and where you're going. In identity capital, you are building your identity. You are building the skill sets in this life. You're building the hobbies. You're building your character. You're building everything that would create the future you, the way that you want to see yourself. And ever since I've heard of this idea, I was never really able to get this out of my head. I didn't really have a proof of concept at the time. I didn't really understand the full capacity of what that means. And so when I started building this identity capital, when I created a bunch of goals for myself, fitness goals, financial goals, you can't really have a goal of meeting your husband, a goal to have children. It's one of those things that you can't really control all of that much. You can only control what surrounds you in your life. So your fitness, your finances, your career, maybe, things like that. And that's exactly what I did. It can be very little things. It can be so minor. It could be something like, oh, I'm just gonna go to the gym one more time a day. I can start practicing maybe splits or something like that, like flexibility training like I've started doing. There's so many things that I started doing just because I was curious about it, and then it kind of turned into my new identity. This is truly turned into this is who I am now. And the girl that was miserable and upset with life 2 years ago, who has had this identity crisis, it's literally not me. It's literally not the same person. And the only thing that I've done is literally just showed up for myself, started to follow through with the goals and ideas that I had that I wanted to accomplish. It's not perfect, of course. It's gonna require work, and it's still work in process, but I feel so much more confident just because I'm showing up for myself, for my own good, and nobody else's. I was blessed with the fact that my parents understand how difficult it is to build even just your love life, forget children. Like, now being in my early 30s, I'm realizing that there's just no way that I could settle down for anything less than what I can offer myself. And my parents understand that. Thank God they do. So they don't really pressure me in that sense. So no man, no children, not even a house. I'm literally living with my parents, and I'm enjoying my life. I'm actually happy to be here. I'm actually content. Would I want more in life? Yeah, yeah, of course. But right now, it's nearly not half bad. It's really not that. And I think a lot of this has to do with just appreciating where you are in life. Some people might not have the family support that I do have, but they also might have a partner which I don't. Things like that. Like everybody's gonna have their own pitfalls, everybody's gonna have their own advantages, and at the same time, all of us, most of us, really want something in life, something that they don't have that others do. And I think being content with what you do have, being appreciative of what you do have, is half the battle. And then the other half the battle is just to do what you can possibly do right now. So one of the struggles that I have right now in this year specifically is that I'm struggling to lose the last 20-30 pounds that I have to lose. And kind of the idea that I've had is that I would like to lose all of this weight so that I can start my life again. But the thing is, like, it's already taken me almost 2 years, actually over 2 years at this point, to lose however much I've lost, like 35-40 pounds. And it's gonna take probably another at least 6 months to like maybe another year to lose the rest of it. And if I was to just put my life on pause until this happens, this is just no way to live. And the same thing with having a partner. I was talking to a friend of mine and she was like, yeah, you know, I just don't feel like doing much because I'm single and, you know, I just don't want to like go places and I just want my person to be with me and do this. Yeah, me too, girl, me too. But you can't put your life on pause just because you don't have your partner with you. And as much as I would love to be in a relationship, I would love to build something with the other person, it's just not happening right now. And at this point, I'm just like giving it all up to the chance because I know that it's meant for me at some point. And it's clearly not right now because right now I have other things to do and it's almost like I'm being guided into that direction. And it doesn't really matter how old you get. This is the crazy part. It doesn't matter how old you get. It's simply just life. And you can't be late for your own life. So I guess I maybe just got older and learned to choose my battles. Maybe that's what it is. You know, I actually remembered something. In middle school, we had a sociology class and my teacher, she gave us a task and she basically gave us a piece of paper and she said, finish the sentence, I am blank, 10 times or something like that. And I remember because we were in middle school and we were dumb kids, we just wrote, I am my first and last name, I am my first and last name, I am my first and last name, like blah, 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 all the way from top to bottom is just I am my last name. And then when she was checking this job, she was really disappointed with us and she was like, don't you understand the assignment? Like, you're not just your name, you're also a daughter, you're also a sister, you're also, I don't know, well, at the time, again, because we're just kids, you're a student. There's not much that you can really like identify as. And that was a great exercise. And now that I'm in my 30s, I'm like, okay, there's way more than 10 things that I am. So I feel like the more I ams you can fulfill. I am an engineer, I am a videographer, I am a photographer, I am a daughter, I am a sister, I am a sister-in-law actually too. And if you want to refine it, you can say something like, I am a fitness girl, I am somebody who can do splits, I am somebody who can do a handstand, I'm somebody who runs, I am somebody who sings. It's almost like every single time you get a little bit of a skill, even if you're not really good at this, like I'm not really good at running or I'm not really good at drawing, but I'm interested in that. Those are my hobbies. It's almost like you level up a little bit every single time. Or for example, when I started doing martial arts, the instant confidence that it gives you, like you just walk straighter. You just simply walk straighter through a grocery store. That's what it gives you. And now I really do not have this problem of like, oh, I'm missing out on life, oh, I'm feeling behind in life, because I know that I'm doing the best that I can do right now in this exact moment for the next foreseeable week, for the next foreseeable months. You know, things might change. Next week I might meet the love of my life and then all the other goals that I have will have to step to the side, but it's just not happening yet. So I'm gonna be working on what I can. And this is how I do not experience an identity crisis anymore, because I know that I handle whatever I can handle, and what I can't handle, there's no reason to worry about that, because I really cannot influence it in any way.